Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Jonathan Dalton, the director at the Center for Anxiety and Behavioral Change. I thought it would be useful to put a short video on our website that explains how we're recommending parents and families, as well as adults, to cope effectively with these very stressful times. So we begin with what we call the three C's. We really want to, at first, maintain continuity. It's very important for us to try and keep as much the same as was there before. So trying to find ways to mimic our daily experience and our daily routine with a wake and sleep cycle, with meals at the same regularly scheduled times, with really trying to maintain as much continuity as we can from our previous experience to this temporary experience that we're in right now. Continuity also calls for maintaining the same schedule on a daily basis. We know that we do much better when our schedules are predictable, when they have set routines that we can manage effectively. And so it's very important for parents to be able to really work with their kids to establish a routine. This will not only make it easier right now as they are transitioning to home for their education and social lives, but also when it comes time to return to school. The more that we can keep them regimented and structured and highly scheduled now in a supportive environment, the easier the transition will be back into the school environment when the time comes that we're allowed to do so. The second C is connectivity. We know, for instance, that social support is such a protective factor against anxiety and depression. And right now, we have obstacles that we've never confronted before in terms of ways to get regular social support from those that we care most about. So it's very important that we find ways to connect in whatever ways we can, whether that be online or with the family and friends that we may be living with. It is very important that we prioritize our values of connectivity, that we work as hard as we can to maintain the relationships that we have and to develop new relationships that we can find online. The third C is going to be creativity. I do believe that, like most stressful experiences in history, that this COVID-19 pandemic will also serve as an innovation engine where we are finding new and varied ways to accomplish our goals. I think that creativity in terms of how we're doing our work, in terms of how kids are being educated, in terms of how we're receiving mental health care are going to be very, very important. But in addition to that, I think that humans have a natural instinct to express ourselves during periods of high stress and anxiety. So I'm encouraging our patients and their families to work on the expressive arts, whether it's music or photography, drawing, creative writing. Whatever it may be, I think that having an expressive outlet to communicate our experiences to other people is going to be very, very helpful in helping us to build our skills. And then the other thing that I think is very important for us to keep in mind, and the patients who have received treatment already are aware of this, but one of the things that causes the most anxiety in our experience is a complicated term but an easy concept. That term is called overvalued ideation. And all it means is that we tend to think that our thoughts are more important than they are, that we tend to, as humans, confuse fear with probability. Now, we're in a very stressful time where there is real risk and real danger, and taking appropriate precautions is essential to maintain family safety right now. But it's also important to maintain our mental health. And part of that means being able to separate thoughts from evidence, to realize that a scary thought is not evidence to support itself, that we need to look for facts and figures, and anxiety is productive when it is paired with problem-solving skills. And so it is very important that as we're moving forward, that we're able to have an informed observer status of our own scary thoughts, whether we are working with kids or we're adults ourselves with dealing with our own level of anxiety, that we're able to keep in mind that thoughts are not evidence like feelings are not facts. We need to stick to what the data tells us to the best of our ability. We need to not only social distance, but what I call social media distancing. It is very easy to get locked into the notifications on our phone or friends' updates with any moment's new news coming out, but those are not going to inform us in a productive way. All they're going to do is keep us oriented towards the threat cues in our environment. So it is very important that we can appropriately manage our own exposure to social media, to the news broadcast, and keeping that to what's basically as much as we need to know, with the knowledge that many of the things that are occurring to us are scary thoughts that are unlikely to happen in our experience. So this is only a short video, but I wanted to put it out there. CABC has shifted over to an online platform delivering telehealth services, and we found it to be actually very effective. We're still continuing to do all of our groups and all of our individual sessions on a secure telehealth platform, and we are trying to figure out new and varied ways to meet the ever-increasing needs of the community in terms of anxiety treatment during an incredibly anxiety-producing period of time. We are very much aware of the obstacles that confront us right now in terms of being able to be in the same room with our patients, and so we ourselves are trying to be innovative and creative in ways that we can meet the needs of the community until we can gather again in person. If anyone is looking for services, please know that we are still providing them. Our number is 301-610-7850. Our intake coordinator is working remotely, but is still able to receive voicemails and to schedule intakes, and as well as ongoing patient care during this period of health crisis in our community. Thank you so much, and I hope this was helpful.